Welcome to our second Greek lesson. Today we are going to talk about the basic sentences in Greek, particularly looking at the verbs in Greek, the present tense of luo. Luo is a basic present tense, and as you know from English, we have past, present, and future tense. And so the tense we're going to be focusing on in this Greek class is the present tense. So we're going to use the word luo to give us a glimpse into all the present tenses of the Greek language. So that one word, once we know how to conjugate it, we can conjugate any verb in Greek. So let's move on and look at the present tense of luo. So the present tense of luo. Now in this table on your screen, we have the grammatical label, we have Greek, we have the English translation of the same. So let's look at how we conjugate a word. So we have the first person, second person, third person, singular, and then we have first person, plural, second person, plural, third person, plural. So the first person singular of luo is luo. So luo, the word luo means I am untying or I untie. So it's either I am doing something or something is done in a moment in time. So the other is process and the other is definite. So the second person is lues. So let's say the various parts to the end: luo, lues, luei, luomen, luete, luozin. So luo, lues, luei, luomen, luete, luozin. Now the stem is lu, and the rest is the ending. So once you know the stem, then you know the ending as well. So in this case, lu is the stem, or is the ending. So for every verb, for every present tense, the stem, you can differentiate the stem from the ending. And once you know the ending, then you know what the stem is, and you can be able to complete the whole conjugation. Okay, so lues means you are untying. Luei means he or she is untying. Luomen means we are untying. Luete means you are untying. Luozin means they are untying. Now in English, it's very difficult to know when you say you what you actually mean, because you can mean you singular, but you can also mean you plural. But it is not the same in Greek. In Greek, you can know when you say you, you know the you are talking about. It's you singular or you plural. And that's the beauty of Greek. So when you take your Greek Bible, you realize that the Bible has a lot more to say about you plural than it does about you singular. And so when you find people reading the Bible and they take a text and say, what is God saying to me? Well, the Bible has more to say to us than it is about me. I think probably it's the individualism of our culture that we have bought into, and we need to recover the communal aspect of the Word of God. By the way, have you known that when the letter was sent to, say, the letter in Corinth, it was being read to a whole congregation. So no one person could say, this is to me, because they knew it was to the whole church. So enough of preaching. Let's go back to Greek. So second person singular or plural. So lues, luete, that's what I just talked about. Third person singular, he or she, it. Third person plural, two possibilities. It can either be luozin or luozi. We have what we call the movable nu. So the nu can either be present or absent, but that still means the same thing. Okay. So here's what I was talking about the endings. You need to know the endings of these present tense verbs. So o is I, is it's you, a is he or she, it, omen is we, ete is you, plural, Ozin means they. Okay? So we can have another Greek word, not luo, and be able to complete it the same way. For example, the word lego. So lego, legeis, legei, legomen, legete, legozin. So lego means I say. Legeis means you say. Legei means he or she, it says. Legomen means we say. Legete means you say. Legozin means they say. Okay, so I've already given you another Greek word that you can complete with this ending. So the stem there is leg. Okay, the stem for luo is lu. Okay, so one Greek word often means more English. One Greek word means more English words. So that's just one word. I am saying. I am saying. That's the word luo. That's the word lego. I am untying. That's the word luo. They are untying. That's the word luozin. Okay, so it's important to know that with just one word you have a whole Greek sentence. That's why this lesson is about the basic sentences in Greek. Okay. Now this is what I was talking about. I said the word lego. So we had the word luo. Now we have lego, and then we have blepo. Lego means I am saying. Legeis means you are saying. Legei means he or she, it is saying. Legomen means we are saying. Legete means we are. You are saying. You plural. Legozin means they are saying. And then we have blepo. Blepo means I am seeing. I see. Or I see. Blepeis, you are seeing. Blepei means he or she, it is seeing. Blepomen means we are seeing. And blepete means you are seeing, you plural. Blepozin means they are seeing. So once you know the present tense of luo, then you almost know almost every present tense of the Greek language. Okay, so that's very important. Once you know the present tense of luo, you can know every other Greek word. Okay, let's move on. So what is the meaning of the present tense? What does the present tense mean? Well, the present tense mean two things. One is that the action is taking place at the present moment. Okay, so something can either happen in the past, right? That's past tense. Something will happen in the future, that's future tense. But right now we're talking about the present. We're talking about the present moment. So the present tense means that something is happening in the present, at the moment. Okay? So at the moment right now, I'm teaching. That's what I'm doing at the moment. Okay? And at the moment, you are listening to a Greek lecture. Okay? So that's what you're doing at the moment. Now, that listening can either be process or undefined in nature. Now, process in the mean that it's something you are doing over a period of time. So you are doing it. So let's say you are listening to a Greek lecture, but we can also say you listen, and that's undefined. We don't know whether you were listening or you just listened. We don't know that. But so the present tense can mean either of the two. It can mean you are saying or you say. Okay? So luo can either be translated I am untying or I untie. Okay, so that's an ambiguity there that you have to deal with when you're translating the Bible that we have to deal with. And many times the context will help us to know what is being meant by what's being said. All right, with that in mind, let's then look at some verbs like luo, vocabularies. So the word ago means I lead or I bring. The word akuo means I hear or I listen. That's where we get the word acoustics, akuo. The word balo means I throw. Balo. I will balo you. That's to say I will throw you out. And then the word blepo. The blepo means I see or I watch. That's the word we just looked at. I see. I see you. you see me. So that's the word blepo. Didasko. Didasko, I teach. So when you think about your Greek lecturer, you think didasko. So the word didaskalos is the word teacher. But to teach, or I teach, is didasko. And by the way, you can actually complete these words. So ago, ageis, agei, agomen, agete, agozin. Akuo, akuo, akueis, akuei, akuomen, akuete, akuozi. Balo, we did balo, balo, baleis, balei, balomen, balete, balozin. Blepo we did. Didasko, you can do the same thing as well. So each of these words we can conjugate them like luo. Echo, I have or I hold. Lambano, I take or I receive. Lego, I say, I speak or I tell. By the way, it's kind of related with the word logos. Logos, which is the message, the word. And then the word luo, which you have looked at. By now, everyone should know the word luo, which means I untie or I'm untying. We have 6 that are like phileo. By the way, we'll talk about phileo. Phileo are like we call them epsilon omega verbs. Epsilon omega verbs, because they end with the eo at the end. So zeteo, I seek. Kaleo, I call. Laleo, I speak or say. Poieo, I do or make. Tereo, I keep. Phileo, I love or I like. That's where you get the word philosophy. That's where you get the word Philadelphia. But that's a combination of 2 Greek words. Phile, which is to love, and then adelphos, which is brother. So Philadelphia means the city of brotherly love. Okay. And then we have some nouns. We haven't talked about nouns yet, but I think let's just look at the words. Once we know them, we will finally be able to deal with them in the future. So the word angelos, we've already looked at it. It means messenger or angel. Adelphos is brother. Artos is bread. Doulos is slave. Theos, God. As a theology student, you certainly must know the Greek word for God. It's the word theos. By the way, that's where we will get the word theology. So theology is the word about God. So logos is word. Theo is God. So theos is God. Cosmos is world. That's where you get the word cosmology. Kurios is Lord or Master. Logos, word or message. Nomos is law. Oikos is household or house. When you're talking about the diphthongs, the word oi came up, the diphthong oi came up, and oikos is household. Uranus is the heaven. Again, another diphthong there, u. So Uranus, heaven. Oklos, crowd. Huios, sun. We are pronouncing it as hu instead of uios because of the half breathing, which we have talked about in our first sentence, in our first lesson. And then Christos is Christ or Messiah. The most common common word in Greek is actually the definite article, which is the. It has 3. It can come in 3 ways: ho, he, or to. Ho is the masculine, he is the feminine, and to is the neuter. And don't worry about that. We will talk about these various classifications of the Greek noun. And then we have anthropos, which declines like logos, human person. And then laos, people. So with that in mind now, let's translate the following. What's the meaning of lambane? Now what you must look at there is that lambane has the ending of the third person singular. So look at the endings of luo, and then you can be able to translate. So you know that lambano means I take or I receive. So in this case, it means he or she is taking or is receiving. Didasco men. Didasco, we know it means I teach. The ending there is men, so it means we are teaching. And then we have akuozin. Akuozin, akuo means I hear or I listen. Akuozin means they are hearing because the ending is the zin at the end there, or uzin. Exete, you have, coming from echo. Blepo, I see. Lues, you untie. We can also move from English to Greek. So she is throwing, ballet. They have a cousin. We are leading, a gomen. So you can see that there. So the present tense of epsilon omega verbs, phileo. Greek grammar is very regular, but with many minor adjustments and when certain letters combine. Okay, so when you have an epsilon omega verbs, you must know what happens when two letters combine. So epsilon and plus epsilon, they combine to form A. Epsilon plus omicron, they combine to form U. So omicron and upsilon. And then before a long vowel, epsilon drops. Epsilon drops before a long vowel. Now, why is this important? This is very important because when you put the endings of luo to an epsilon omega verb, it means that you have to drop certain letters or combine certain letters so that you form the way the word should look like. Okay, so let's now look at how phileo looks like when it's declined. So philo, the actual form is philo. The process of getting there, how do we get to philo? So we have combined omega with epsilon, and of course we said that epsilon drops before a long vowel. Okay, so there epsilon is dropped. And then we have ace plus phile. So there again, epsilon plus epsilon is equal to epsilon. Okay, we don't have two epsilons following each other, so it becomes philes. And then philae, and then philomen. So we have omen, and then we have phile. So epsilon plus omicron, we have u, philomen. And then philate, and then philosi. So just know how to combine. I will go back to that chart again. Epsilon plus epsilon equals epsilon iota a. Epsilon plus omicron equal to u, and then epsilon before a long vowel drops. So I hope you get this. It's very important. Epsilon omega verbs like phileo are always listed in vocabularies or dictionaries in their contracted form, in their uncontracted form. So phileo. So it's actually supposed to be philo. That's the contracted form, although this form will never be found in Greek since it would have contracted into philo. So in actual fact, from the dictionary form, we do not have epsilon omega verbs, but we do have them. We must know how we get there because it's very important. So philozin, what is the meaning of philozin? Well, the word phileo means I love. The ending is a third person plural ending, so it's they love. Poiete is the second person plural, so it's you are doing. It comes from poieo. Kale, he or she, it is calling. Teromen, we are keeping. Zeto, I seek, or I am seeking. So you need to complete that. Lales, you are saying, and then they are speaking. Lalozin, she is doing. Poieo, you seek. Zetate. So you need to know how to translate these words. Okay. Now let's talk about the nouns, the Greek nouns, and we have the various classifications of the Greek nouns, and we're going to look at logos. So we have, in this case, we have nominative and accusative. The nominative is the subject, and the accusative is the object of the sentence. Now, when you go back to your basic English, you realize that the subject is the one who does the action of the verb. Okay? And then the object is the one who receives the action of the verb. So when you have logos, it declines. So what we do with nouns is that they decline. So you actually move from the subject, the object, possession, which is the genitive, and then the dative, which is the indirect object. Okay? So in this case, we are only dealing with the nominative and the accusative. So in singular, you have logos. In the plural, you have logoi. In the accusative, it's logon. In the plural, it's logos. Okay? So the meaning of the nominative and the accusative cases, we actually call them cases. So you have the nominative case, the accusative case, the genitive case, and the dative case. We also have the vocative case, which we shall also look at. So the nominative is the subject, the accusative is the object. Okay, so now with that, we can actually be able to form basic sentences in Greek. So blepeis, we said it means you, singular. Okay, now blepeis angelon, it means you see an angel. Blepeis angelon, you see an angel. Now, where do you get the subject in this sentence? Well, you get it from the Greek verb. The verb, the ending itself can give you the subject. So it's you, singular. You, singular. See, what do you see? You see an angel. Okay. Blepeis angelus. Well, blepeis angelus means you see angels, because angelus is plural, whereas in the first sentence, angelon is singular. And then blepete means you see. So we have this now, this sentence, doulos blepei angelon. So a slave sees an angel. So you have your subject, doulos. Oh, by the way, how do you know the subject? Well, the ending tells you omicron sigma. At the end, you know that's your subject. Okay. It also agrees with the verb, because there is he or she, it sees. So a slave sees an angel. He or she, it sees an angel. It agrees. So douloi bleposin angelon. Slaves see angels. So literally it's slaves, they see an angel. But you see, we don't repeat the verb because it's already captured by slaves. So we just say slaves see angels. And then douloi bleposin angelus. Slaves are seeing angels. So in this case, it's become plural. Verbs agree with their subject in number. Verbs agree with their subject in number. If the verb is singular, the subject will also be singular in number. Right? So the hints. There are 3 steps to translation. Work out the cases of the words. Must know the cases. What is the case? You cannot go anywhere without knowing the subject. You cannot go anywhere without knowing the object. You cannot go anywhere without knowing that. So work out the different, why the different words have the endings they have. And then translate the sentences accordingly. So that's the rules for translation. They will help you. Example, kurios eke doulos. So we know what the word kurios means. The word kurios means Lord. The word eke comes from echo, which means I have. The word doulos means, it comes from the word doulos. So it's the plural of doulos. So in this case, it's the Lord has slaves. So the kurios is nominative, singular. Doulos, slave, is accusative, plural. Okay? From the chart that we looked at, we can be able to have this information. We have the nominative, singular, and we have the accusative, plural. And then kurios is nominative because it is the subject. Doulos is accusative because it is the object. So then the sentence is, a lord has slaves. A lord has slaves. So it's very, very important to analyze the words that are in your sentence. Before you analyze them, you can never be able to translate them. Okay? We still have our verb. Our verb here is ek, which comes from echo, and we can actually be able to pass that verb. How do we pass it? Well, we know what is the tense. It's a present tense. We know what is the mood. We know it's indicative. We know what is the voice. We know it's active voice. I'm going to explain that. We know what is the number. It's singular. We know what is the dictionary form. The dictionary form is echo. Now, what is the tense? The tense is the present, right? When something is happening. The mood is what is conveyed by the statement. For example, a statement of fact is indicative of something, so we call it indicative mood. And for now, the only mood you're dealing with is the indicative mood, because we have not introduced any other mood. We have other moods, but for now, it's indicative. Now, voice. A voice can either be active voice, passive voice, or middle voice. Now, we have not talked about any other voice. The only voice we are having right now is active voice. Now, active voice comes as a result of the subject doing the action of the verb. So, like, I am teaching, right? Now, teaching is not being done on me. I am the one doing the teaching. Okay, so that's active voice. Okay, so that's how we would pass this word, ek. So in your exercises, I ask you to pass the verbs. Now that's what you must be able to do. You must be able to tell me what's the tense, what's the mood, what is the voice, what is the number, what is the dictionary form. Okay, so number is either singular or plural. And then person is either first, second, or third person. Okay, so you must be able to say all that information. So now let's say what the case and number for the following words is. Arton. Arton is accusative singular. Comes from artos. Okay, accusative singular. So you just look in that chart and be able to come up with this information. Angeloi is a nominative plural. Uranus is accusative plural. Huioi, nominative plural. Oklos, nominative singular. And the rest. Go back to the chart if you do not know how we've gotten here. Just look at the chart and you go to know accusative and plural. Remember, nominative is the os and the us sound. Accusative is the on and us sound. Actually, the nominative is the os and the oi sound, okay, at the end of the word. So with that, now we can translate a few sentences in Greek. We can be able to say, Adelphos didaskei oklos. Brothers teach the crowds. So the word oklos is crowd, and then oklos is crowds. Okay, zetomen arton. We are seeking bread. Zetomen comes from zetel, arton comes from artos, so we are seeking bread. Doulos lues, you are untying slaves. Kurios legei logon, a lord says a word. Anthropoi kalozin, people are calling, and so on and so forth. So with those Greek nominative nouns, we also need the definite article. The definite article is the. So when we say, when we use the, it's the definite article. Now in Greek, ho is our the. Hoi is the plural of the same. And then we have ton and tus. So nominative words will also go with a nominative article. So instead of ton angelos, we would say ho angelos, okay? Because ho is nominative, ton is accusative. Okay, so blepe ton angelon. You see, or in this case, he or she, it sees the angel. So in the whenever the definite article is not used, you assume that it's an indefinite. Then it becomes an angel. But in this case, we have the definite article, which is ton. So ton angelon, it's the angel. Hoi angeloi bleposin, the angel they see. So we would say the angel are seeing. Ho anthropos blepe tous angelos. A person sees the angels. Okay, so just the definite article, THE, that is being introduced here. Now we have three uses of the definite article. What are the three uses of the definite article? We use the definite article, number one, for names, like Ho Daudi. But in English, we don't say the David, we just say David. But in Greek, anytime a name is used, it must be Ho Daudi, Ho Yosef, Ho Israel, Ho Ioannis, Ho Theos. Okay? Abstract nouns. Whenever we have abstract nouns like the person, you say Ho Anthropos. Okay, that's humanity, the person. Ho Nomos, the law. Okay, in English we just probably say law. And then whenever God is talked about, God, we don't say the God when we translate, but in Greek it's Ho Theos. Ho Theos. Ho Theos. Okay? So names, abstract nouns, and God. That's when definite article is used. Okay, have fun with these other translations of these sentences. I'll just do one and you can do the rest. Hoi, huioi, ehozin, oikon. The sun have a house. The sons have a house. So huioi is plural. Hoi is plural. Ehozin is plural. So again, nominative nouns agree with their verb in number. That's quite correct there. Okay, you can have fun with the rest of the translations. Okay, that does it for this second lesson. I wish you well. Do the revisions and ensure that you pronounce the words for yourself. Thank you.